I want to talk to you about something that I've been quietly working on for some time now, and it's not just a project or a video editing, but more about how I just eat. I know this might sound basic, but stay with me. Because what started with me trying to feel less exhausted and more like myself actually turned into a whole deep research about my well-being, but also in which I've gone deep down more than my thesis. And it all started with a simple question. If I spend so much time thinking what environments do to human biology and what products can I use for my face instead of synthetic ones, why wasn't I even thinking and ignoring what I put inside my body? The answer was, honestly, it felt overwhelming. Because the wellness industry is as noisy as the beauty industry. Everyone is trying to sell you something, a protocol, an app. Influencers are trying to sell supplements. So I'm not going to do that today. What I want to do instead is share what I have learned. As a creative, as a designer, as someone who studies biological system, but also about food, how to approach it without over-obsessing with it, and how the industry is moving towards. Let me give you some context first, because the food industry in 2026 is genuinely an interesting inflection point. And understanding it makes your personal choices much healthier and clearer. The global organic food market has reached $360 billion this year, growing at nearly 50% annual. And that's not a niche anymore. It's actually one of the biggest industries, fastest growing sectors in the global economy. But here's the interesting thing. The word organic is becoming meaningless in the industry market. On one side, we have basic organic certification stickers on the market, on supermarkets, and on the other side, something even more interesting is emerging. And the word is regenerative organic. And this isn't just what you don't spray in the food, but this is basically farmers restoring biodiversity, building soil carbon, returning nutrients to the land. If it doesn't mention soil health, it is increasingly considered legacy thinking by the people who care most. And there is another movement I find fascinating, Non-UPF, ultra-processed food. For the first time, consumers really care about what are the ingredients of the food, more than just only what was sprayed on it. A non-UPF verified certification is launched, which means the question is not anymore, is this organic, but was this assembled in a lab for 40 ingredients, or did it come as something more recognizable? Marketing, on the other way, has changed completely. Brands are now actually competing on the ingredients, not just the vibes. 30% more polyphenols than the standard organic. Clinical data, QR codes that traces your food back to the specific field that it came from. Blockchain transparency. And this transparent revolution in food is actually happening at the same time of the beauty industry movement that I talked about in the previous video. Consumers are getting smarter, apps are getting better, greenwashing started to get punished. And that's actually the most useful part for us as consumers and as individuals. Okay, so theory aside, what does this actually mean in practice? For me, the shift happened when I started thinking about food not just as a fuel, but more as an information. Because everyday meal is data your body is consuming and is letting in. And your body is responding to that data every time in your skin, in your body. Focus, inflammation, your mood, your energy, your shift. And this is not a new idea. More than 80% of the global population already uses herbal or plant-based organic food as a primary healthcare, more than medicine. The West is late to this, but the validation, the global research, the studies, they're actually catching up now. Botanical ingredients saw 50% more research now than ever between 2022 and 2024. And this isn't an alternative anymore. Data actually shows this. It's being confirmed at a more larger scale. For me personally, this started to feel more like, okay, like what do I put into my body? Let's study it and let's be more conscious of my choices. Not obsessively, just noticing. More vegetable, less processed food, more color on the plate for a more balanced meal. Not a diet, not a protocol. Just actually eating real food. And here's what I didn't expect. When I started eating in a way that it actually nurtured me, my skin, my body, it all started to feel and look differently. If I got to eat or abuse on me be things that are food that is ultra processed, I could see it on my skin. Pimple, face looked tired and not energetic at all. Instead of when I put into my body food that actually nurtures it, I could immediately see the difference. And I'll give you a specific example for this, because for years I've had severe period pain and I'm not the only one, and this is getting really underestimated. And the only thing I would do is just take the period pill. Just the drugs and let it go in this way, because this is what we were told it was the best and the most effective way, but it's not. Because what I've noticed is that if I have an anti-inflammation diet, combined of course with exercise, with a healthy lifestyle and less stress, it helps even better than the medicine itself to heal it in a more organic way and in a harmonic level. Just cutting ultra-processed food, adding omega-3 supplements, or just integrating it with food, which is even better. Taking magnesium, which is fundamental for our muscles, because inflammation is a huge driver of menstrual pain. And for me now, it is really important to address the root and the cause of this inflammation, rather than just putting a pill and just not even understanding why this happens to my body, and which is not a cure after all. And I have to be careful here, because I'm not the person who will say just eat well and your period pain will disappear. Of course not. I myself take the pill sometimes, but it is not the best solution. And it is important that we know what actually really helps in addition to that, instead of just keep taking pills and pills on the same day. Which connects directly to the topic of the beauty industry that I talked previously. The most sophisticated skincare routine in the world is what your body already knows what to do from the inside, and how to support it and not fight against it. And food is a support in this case. The last thing I want to do is to add noise to that. People that's telling you what do you have to eat and what not. Everyone is built differently. Everyone has different necessities when it comes to food and what makes it feel better or not. So let me be honest, I'm not perfect in this. I love food as pleasure, not just as medicine. A beautiful meal with people you love is actually the most nourishing and anti-stress that you can have, better than just eating super organic and then be stressful or have a different completely lifestyle. So the goal isn't purity in this case. The goal is consciousness, knowing what you are choosing and why. And I wanted to address it directly because organic food is expensive. Regenerative organic is even more expensive. And the wellness industry mostly pretends this is not a problem, but it is. So some things that may actually help. First thing, prioritize what it matters. Not everything needs to be organic. The Environmental Working Group publishes a list called Dirty Dozens, every 12 fruits and vegetables that are actually full of pesticides. Strawberries, spinaches, peaches. So these are worth buying in an organic way. The clean 15, such as avocados, pineapples, onions, have naturally low residue levels, so this can actually be fine if you don't like it like this. And second of all, an app that genuinely makes a difference for me is Yuka. I don't know if you already know it, but you just scan the products when you're in the supermarket and it tells you which ones are actually more toxic than the other one. It's not perfect, but it's useful. Open Food Facts is also a free version that you can check into. Think Dirty for personal care products. These tools do in 10 seconds what would require a biochemistry degree. Third, and this is where I think AI is genuinely so helpful and people don't even realize. I want to talk here about AI really carefully because I think it's easy to overclaim or dismiss. I'm not saying AI is a real doctor and you can confidently just not go to the doctor anymore but just speak with AI. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is most of you have the experience of going to the doctor, right? And there is an appointment where you get to pay a lot for just 7 minutes where the doctor doesn't even understand, ask you questions. Actually, doesn't even hear your concerns. And you go at home confused with just a prescription telling you to buy this medicine without the actual understanding and the root causes of our bodies. The system isn't designed for education, it's designed for throughput. AI, specifically the large model systems now, can sit with you for an hour and explain through articles and research what are your concerns and your parameters of your body, of your skin, what are your symptoms, what dietary factors influence this or that, and is more of an education because AI is free source, right? It's free information that you can basically use right now for your own benefits. So not as a diagnose that an actual doctor can make, as a way of actually understanding your body. But I've used it for this before, and I speak of experience because when you put file of your blood test together with your symptoms and what you feel and what you don't feel, and have a genuine conversation about what these numbers mean, not you have an X condition. For example, Here's what an elevated homocysteine means in the context of vitamin B absorption. And here are the dietary sources most bioavailable for this. That kind of information that used to require time, money spent on appointments on doctors, and years of research, now it's for free. And it's accessible to everyone, so why not use it? And Gemini specifically has a section where you can create your own gembots. So you insert in the settings what would you want AI to know about you and how can it help you in this case. Like, can it act like a real advisor on the health concerns and give you the best sources for the products that are more or less toxins and healthy or not. And once it knows your health context, your budget, your values, it gives you the best options for you to make you make better decisions. And that's not a replacing healthcare. That's having an informational advisor whenever you need, if you're at home or if you're anywhere else. Because Gemini, you can also install it in your phone, so it's pretty easy. But, and there's a but, this is important because the goal isn't to optimize yourself into a machine. The goal is to feel good enough in your own body with food, that food starts being more of a pleasure than an anxiety or stress to think about. Here's the thing that I've keep coming back to. Because we live in the world right now that eating has become a sort of another performance, another opportunity to optimize, document, make content, compare the aesthetically perfect smoothie bowl on Instagram, the macro-tracked gym lunch, the supplement protocol, everything that we can see daily scrolling. And I think there is being something lost in all of that. The idea of a food as a moment that belongs to just you, phone, or with the computer in front of you. And there's an actual research behind of this because being with screens while you are eating affects less in a way that if you're not using your phone or scrolling or watching a video, your body actually registers fullness better, which is both a neurological, beautiful fact and kind of a beautiful metaphor, like enjoying really the food that you're giving your body. And the most nourishing meals I've had this year were not actually the most nutritionally dense. They were the ones where I actually cooked something that I really wanted to cook that is really good. To eat something somewhere with a good light, with nature, or with people that I love, without producing content about it, without tracking it, without becoming over-obsessive. I think this is a balance that the wellness industry cannot sell you, because there's nothing to sell. Eat real food as much as you can. Be curious about what makes you feel good. Use the tools, the app, the AI, the research as aids, not as authorities, and close the phone when you actually eat. As creative, as designers, and as people who think about the future, me myself speaking, we have the responsibility to create something, to promote something different from the optimization culture, to make choices that are conscious with anxiety and stressful, to create work that promotes general well-being rather than manufactured aspirations. Because the food we eat, the movement we design and create, and the futures we imagine, they're all connected. And they're part of the same question, what it actually means to thrive. I'm still figuring that out, but I'm eating better while doing it. Subscribe if this is the kind of thinking you want to be part of. Every Wednesday, there's a new video.